Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Why We Play the Game. This is part 2 of the treasure little mini-series I'm doing. Sorry, something was flashing across the screen. And I wanted to address a couple of things that I did in the first episode, and I'll probably do a third because there's a whole lot of discussion that needs to happen, I think, at least in regards to treasure. I know I heard a lot of the comments, you're in it for the adventure. Good for you. Good for you. And don't think for a minute that I don't appreciate the entire idea of the adventure gaming. Most of us haven't had the opportunity to, go on real adventures in life. But, as an old hat at this and having done it for so long, the reason I brought this up in the first place was that I just wasn't seeing in the hobby the kind of treasure I was hoping for. I've always hoped for. I've still yet to see anybody hand out some treasure. There's been a few. I'll be honest. There've been a couple of exceptions. One even recently that was appropriate for the expenditure of time and resources and what have you in the games that I'm in, but still I'm always going to be wanting a little bit more, and because I've been in so many adventures, real and otherwise, that I want a little something more to remember it by at the very least. But we're not going to talk about that today. Today we're going to talk about random treasure. Whether you roll it up, for the monsters or the room, let's say. A big thing has always struck me as incredibly odd that many dungeon masters out there will roll up the treasure after the fact. If I'm designing an adventure or a dungeon, I'm going to design it all. I am going to know before the encounter what's in the bad guy's pockets, so to say, or so to speak, I should say. I've gone to the trouble to create an encounter or fill a room with adversaries. I should know what they're armed with. I should know what's in their pockets. I should know what's in the desk drawer, all of that. I'm not going to roll it up and waste player time randomly rolling it up after the fact. I want the whole encounter, regardless of what kind of encounter it is, to be statted out as well as possible. And if I'm not going to, if I'm going to, ad lib an encounter, I'm going to give some thought to what they have, what kind of treasure they have, whether they're, it's on their horses, it's in their Jeep, it's in their back pocket, it's in their backpack. I'm going to give some thought to that for a couple of reasons. And not wait until after the encounter or even after the game. I just don't like the time wasted in the adventure. If I've already done the work, then it'll flow smoother and we won't have to take a break, remove the immersive effects of our role-playing game. Okay, the first reason should be pretty obvious, of the wasted time in the game, and quite literally be able to go on to the next encounter or the next whatever it is, the next part of the journey, let's say. The second aspect is I've too often come across games like that where the treasure that was found should have been used or utilized by the adversaries, whether it be a potion of healing or a submachine gun or a magic ring or something like that. If I owned even one magic item in real life, I would always have it on me, even if I couldn't use it, unless of course it was a cursed magic item, in which case I would try to get the thing destroyed, of course. But even if it's like a magic weapon that I for some reason cannot use, it's either going to be on me because I'm going to, learn how to use it and since we're making up NPCs and whatnot, why can't I just make the fact that this orc actually can use this, +7 pair of nunchucks? I'm, being completely facetious there. +7's a little ridiculous, but you get my point. If there's a magic weapon, in the results of the random treasure, then why am I not using it against the party? That gives the party one more challenge to overcome, and it makes the overall encounter worth that much more experience points if you use those sort of rules where the XP for the encounter is commensurate with the actual difficulty. And if you go by the old AD&D Dungeon Master's Guide, if you suddenly equip the monster with the magic item treasure thing, that increases his value in experience points once defeated. And too many times I've been in a game and the encounter is vanquished or what have you, and then we look around and we find the treasure, and it's like, wow, he didn't use his potion of healing? That's amazing. That would have made the combat that much more tougher. And if you're playing in a game and your opponent reaches for a potion, that should give you the equivalent of an attack of opportunity and alert everybody that, hey, we don't want him drinking this potion. Instead of swinging to hit, swing to disarm, and we're pretty sure that that's going to be a potion of healing or some sort of defensive potion that he's trying to down. And if we prevent him from doing that, all the better. And if not, then suddenly the battle just got a lot more tougher, because here the monster in question was almost defeated and he was about to drink a potion, and if he drinks the potion, the battle lasts longer and gives him the opportunity to fight back, knowing that he's on his last legs. Or we defeated the monster and we've somewhat identified that the potion is beneficial because the monster was about to drink it for some reason, not just to he's not going to be drinking a treasure finding potion or a clairvoyance potion or something like that. He's probably drinking some sort of healing or defensive potion, and using whatever other items are in the treasure, even if it's something that needs to be identified and has magic, activation words or things like that, and the creature couldn't possibly know how to use it, he's still going to keep it handy or hidden, to the point that we're not just going to find it. It's a magic item. If you had one magic item and you knew for a fact that it was a magic item, would you not, take great lengths to protect it, to hide it, to utilize it, as opposed to, oh, it's in the treasure chest, it's just another piece of treasure, it's, a piece of jewelry, and I don't wear jewelry, or it's not my style, it clashes with my outfit. No, you'd have that on you, even if you wore it, like on the inside of your lapel or something. It still counts, and nobody knows you're wearing it, and it's probably still doing its magical thing. So I like the idea of my treasure to be rolled up ahead of time, and my monsters or my bad guys or whatever, they're going to use whatever I roll up, or they're at least going to defend it or protect it or try to distract people from trying to get to it. Now, here's the last bit about random treasure. It doesn't have to be random. If you roll up an apparatus of Kowals in the hands of these kobolds, is that really going to further the game along, now that they've got this giant magical metal barrel that they need to, carry along through the rest of the adventure? No. But the same, if you roll up a +5 Holy Avenger, are you going to leave it with the kobolds, or are you going to just go, nah, that's too much? Or maybe that's too little for the encounter. You, as the GM, have the ability to go, not in my game. Or, on the converse, you know what, the party could really use a potion of healing. So I'm going to put one of those in there. It's not a magic weapon or something permanent, but you know what? It's a low-level game. I'm going to help them out and do them a solid and throw in a healing potion here or there in place of whatever other random treasure you roll. Now, that may seem, a little tight-wadded, but, at first level, they should have to work a little bit. Every level they should have to work quite a bit, honestly, to get those levels. But In games that use experience points, just the sheer act of doing certain things is going to get them to second level. And in games where magic items give you experience points, handing out a wand of fireballs at second level is going to turn that magic user into a third or maybe even fourth level magic user just by virtue of gaining the item. And for those of you who don't like those XP rules, don't use them. You don't want to use them, don't use them. I've seen lots of GMs say, I don't use this rule or I don't use that rule. That's fine. I like to play a game rules as written as much as possible. Otherwise, I can't really say what game I'm playing, and I might as well be writing my own game from scratch. And God knows we've seen enough of that already. I could go into that more, but you guys know my opinion. There's too many games out there that aren't getting played for lust of the new shiny thing that just came down the pike. Personally, there are very few things that have come out in the last few years that I would back wholeheartedly. But when it comes to rolling up random treasure, you don't have to roll. Okay, there are a lot of things we don't roll for, encounters or things like that. Well, if you want to place a specific piece of treasure in your game, so be it. That's between you and your players, or maybe just between you and just yourself. You don't have to explain anything as the DM. You don't have to explain anything unless players ask. If they say, "Hey, why is this way?" and you can or choose not to explain it, you could say, "Well, you don't know. You'll have to, keep adventuring to find out," or we'll discuss that after the game. Breaking up a game to explain things to me is not the way to go. You got any questions? Fill them out in triplicate after the game, and we can discuss it. Otherwise, let's get back to the action. That's what we're here for. These days, most of the time, we don't get enough time at the table. Most of us as grown-ups and having lives and careers and families and things like that, we don't have the luxury of playing the 6 and 8 hour games every weekend or every other night or what have you, like I used to do. We get a couple of hours once a week, which is actually, if you think about it, that's pretty good. If you were spending the same time going to play darts at your local pub, you'd probably spend a lot more money and probably have to answer to the missus or whatever. You're going out drinking again. No, I'm in a darts league, which doesn't have the same ring of authenticity as I'm playing a game online. You want to come and watch and listen in. We'll see. That's what we're doing. We're pretty serious about this. This is our hobby. This is our way of relaxing or hanging out with the friends, that sort of thing. So taking away from that game time by rolling up random treasure is just you're doing everybody a disservice. If you can spend the time to create a dungeon or an adventure or a session for the evening, do all the work, roll it up beforehand, and you'll see that the treasure is a lot more. Sure, it's interesting, when you find a really nice haul of like, let's say, gems and jewelry. That's great. That's fantastic. None of the chintzy. You found a couple hundred copper and you should be grateful for that. Talked about that last episode. Don't be a tightwad. But when you've rolled it up beforehand and you can rattle it off, and you're not going, okay, I have to flip to this page for this chart and this page for that chart, and you find this and you find that, you can already have it typed up or written up on a Post-it note, and you can rattle it off real quick. You found this and that, and okay, you stowed it away. What do you guys do next? And the same with magic items. If you've had it all rolled up, let's say, and written down, it'll also give you a little bit of time to go and look up the item and go, do I really want to hand out this sphere of annihilation? No, it probably wouldn't even be here. There isn't a magic user for miles. Why would this sphere of annihilation just be sitting here in the dungeon? and you can go, okay, I'm going to roll up something else or pick something else, put it there, and look it up, see what it does before you put it in your game. Not just go, well, the dice said this. Who's running the game? You or the dice? You're running the game. The dice are there to help you when you need that help from either certain mechanics or to let the players know you're not just arbitrarily saying, oh, well, the monsters always hit you, they never miss. Well, no, that's not right. No one does that. We want to know that the GM is sort of playing along as well, but there's some things that are out of the dice's purview. They aren't in charge. Remember that you as a GM get to decide. So when it comes to treasure, maybe you want to just put the dice up for a while and just go through the books and go, I'm handing out this, I'm handing out that, and really decide what's going to be in your game, as opposed to, well, the dice said I rolled up a freaking +5 set of plate mail and you guys are second level. I guess, well, so and so is never going to get hit for the rest of the campaign, or at least for the next foreseeable 5 to 7 levels. You can just say, you know what, I'll give them some +2 plate mail. That's still going to be a big deal. Or, you can nerf it, or you can go, hey, yeah, these players are 17th level, and I rolled up another +1 dagger. Yeah, no, let's do a little better. And that's what this is all about, doing a little better, being a better GM, being a better player, understanding the rules and the nuances of this crazy hobby we call tabletop role-playing. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I am going to say adios until later on this evening when I'll be doing the Thursday Night Paint and Chat. Hopefully you guys will have some comments you can bring over from this discussion, or whatever else we decide to talk about before the big holiday weekend. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful holiday weekend. I've received a couple of, well, I don't know what they are, but gifts from folks out there in TV land, and we're really, really looking forward to seeing what you sent. And we hope everybody else out there receives something really, really nice this year. Make this year all the more memorable. And let's not, of course, forget the reason for the holiday, which is the greatest gift of all. So until next time, folks, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We love you guys, and I will see you guys all tonight. Happy trails.